Hey, this is Jon Luke Thomas. You may know me as the voice of the mayor from Little Big Awesome, Brian Richards from Sunshine Brownstone, Benny, Spaceship in the Lego Movie 2 video game, Sven The Flea from The Mighty Ones, Legal Weasel Theodore Laughton from the video game Voodoo Detective, and coming soon, you can hear me as the voice of Ned the Crocodile in Taz Quest for Burger, coming to streaming platforms everywhere June 6th. And you're watching In Conversation with Amber the Fangirl.
Hi guys, Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. My guest is a voice actor. He is best known for being the voice of the mayor, Fried Egg, Fluffy Smoosh, and many more in Little Big Awesome, which actually aired over here in England, which I never knew about until fairly recently. So that was some quite good trivia for you. I don't know how I made that up. So sorry. I'm already flunking this already. I'm so sorry. Forgive me.
You're doing great.
Okay. Give me a minute. Gotta compose myself. There we go. I'm okay. My guest has also voiced Brian Richard, the narrator, and the old man in Sunshine Brownstone. I don't know why this screen is so bright. This is like, why am I so bright? Oh god.
You're glowing. You're just glowing.
I'm glowing. I'm technically glowing. There we go. Also Theodore Laughton. Is it Laughton? Yeah,
it is Laughton. Yes,
in Laughton in Voodoo Detective, and also in the Lego Movie 2 video game. It says you've done a voice on IMDb. I don't know who you voiced or.
I was actually a voice match for Charlie Day. I'm Benny, that guy.
Really? Oh my gosh! Wow! I was like, my jaw dropped.
That was a fun gig. That was a fun day.
So cool! Wow! So there's certainly an honor, and my guest has also been in live action, like shorts, like The Drama Club, Life Tracker, and How to Make a David Lynch Film, whatever that is. I don't know who David Lynch is, but he's a nice guy. My guest is also the voice of Ned and Sam in the upcoming film Taz Quest for Burger, which is out this June on digital media, right? And DVD.
Yeah.
Is it
DVD, I believe, is not till June 20th, but we should be on Prime Video and Apple TV and a bunch of other stuff June 6th.
Hey, well, it's both. It's both medias, and my guest is the incredible, amazing, lovely Jon Luke Thomas.
Oh, thank you so much for having me,
Hello.
Amber. It's such a pleasure to be here.
You're welcome, and you follow after a very special guest. Now, my viewers will obviously know who the guest is, but Jon doesn't know because I'm waiting until tomorrow for the release. So
I'm very excited, and I can't wait to be the letdown after that very big guest.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Oh, my. I feel bad now. I'm like, maybe I should have interviewed him sooner. So maybe after the convention we did. But so how are you doing today, Jon?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I have to confess, this is my first podcast, so I'm a little nervous. But I feel like I am in excellent hands.
Well, I'm honored because there are a few people who I've actually spoken to who this has also been their first podcast they've ever done. So it's not the first time, but I'm very honored.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Be gentle. Just be gentle,
of course,
okay?
Of course. I'm just saying it's not the first time. Like I've had a new like a person who's never done podcasts on before. But I'm saying it is also an honor that I am your first interview person. I don't know. Person on the other side of a screen who fires questions at you in rapid speed. Yes.
There we go. Oh, rapid speed. Okay, hold on. Let me gear up. Oh, okay, good. Okay.
Nah. Here we take it nice and slow, and
I like that.
Yeah, it's not like professional interviews. I don't fire questions fast. It mainly just conversation, just back and forth, like a little tennis match, maybe just a little conversation. That's why it's like laid back. I don't ask people to dress formally or anything like that. It's just a casual conversation. That's the tagline.
I love it. Yes. Well, I am casual and conversational and guy next door and all those things. So let's do it.
You're in conversation with ATF right now, so yay. How are you doing today, Jon? I can't remember if I asked that already. Did I?
Yeah, you have, but I'm still doing great. It's been a good day. I'm every day that I get to do what I love is a good day, right?
Yeah, of course. And oh my gosh, you have got some credits under your belt because I've got to bring up Taz Quest for Burger first. So this is coming out on digital media and on DVD in next month. Oh my gosh,
next month.
I keep thinking it's nearly the start of the year. Oh my gosh. This year's going fast already. I need it to slow
It
down.
is, right?
Yeah, oh my gosh. And
Pump the brakes, 2023.
I know, yeah, there's like this year goes fast, and then the next year will just go really slow. And then the next year will just go really fast. That's how it works in my world.
The older you get, the faster they go. So buckle up.
Oh dear. Gotta get ready then. So Taz Quest for Burger. How long have you been working on this?
Well, I first started recording from home in November of 2020. That's how long ago I first started my involvement with this project. But I'm sure, I mean, it had to have been in pre-production long before that even. So this is a true labor of love from these really incredible creators. And I'm so excited that it finally gets to be seen in June. I can't wait.
Well, I tell you something, John. This is a very shameless plug. Well, what's shameless? I don't really know how to. It's not plug because it's not available. But I did. Well, in a sense, let me explain. I did a documentary on a voice actor named Bill Scott, voice of Bullwinkle, Dudley Do Right, Mr. Peabody. I interviewed, well, just for this one, Taz himself, Steve Bloom, in November 2020 for it. So
no
around
kidding.
the same time. Yeah, so he did say he was working on a project for Warner Brothers. So this might have been the project he was on about.
I have a funny feeling it might have been. Yep.
I don't know. Oh my gosh. So it all kind of, the dots connect because, all-star cast Steve Bloom makes his debut as Taz. The cast also is comprised of Hadley Ganaway, daughter of Bob Ganaway, he works at Disney. Because he's done a lot of Pixar-related stuff. The cast also includes Piotr Michael, who's also been on my podcast, Ian James Collette, Eric Bowser, Corey Walgren, Kevin Michael Richardson, Eli Henry, and James Urbaniak?
Urbaniak? I think maybe?
Urbaniak. Yeah. Oh my god.
Dr. Venture. He's Dr. Venture from the Venture Brothers. This is like a ridiculous all-star cast, and then me. I'm so excited.
Gosh. Like, I feel really bad because, like, out of all of them, I only know a few of the names. Like, I had to look up James and also Hadley as well. And then I remembered who Hadley was. And then I just like saw the people. I was like, oh, I feel so bad. I feel too bad. But wow, like what a project. Like, how did you get involved in this?
I auditioned for it and I booked the job, like we are auditioners all day, every day, like that's really and that's kind of what I love about this too, is like it's such a level playing field where it's like even people that have been doing this for 20, 30 years are still auditioning for all these projects. I mean, there's also, the flip side of that is that they'll also be requested and, they'll be asked to join things. But, it's nice that we all kind of have the same opportunities, and we all get a chance to, with each day you get new scripts and new characters to play with, and you never know what you're going to book. And, it's just, you got to treat each opportunity as the job itself and then have as much fun with it as you can and then move on to the next. Because, odds are 9 times out of 10, you're probably not going to book that job. But then once in a blue moon, you get a gig like Taz Quest for Burger. And it was a blast. I had so much fun. Wes Gleason was our voice director, and he could not have been a sweeter, more enjoyable person to work with. Like it was a treat.
Oh man, here's the part I say I need more voice directors on my podcast. Like
you got to get Wes. I watched your episode with Rachel Kimsey, who is a tremendous talent.
Rachel, yeah,
and she was singing his praises, and I was just like, yes, he is the best.
Yeah, I'd love more voice directors. And now I've had Susan Blue on my podcast. She's really lovely. I'm seeing her this August. I know. Wonderful. Yeah. Another one I really want is Andrea Romano, but she rarely does podcasts.
She is like the Steven Spielberg of voice directors, right?
On the animated series. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I love that show. Like, I got into it after I met Kevin Conroy, and like, I'm just using this paint pen as a pointer, by the way. There you go. So I got into it, and it's just, you're thinking these characters said their lines this way because of Andrea. Like, Absolutely. You're thinking she had the final say on how these characters said stuff. So, like, you're thinking, oh yeah, no, such and such is behind that voice. It's Andrea Romano. Thinking, yeah, because she did Little Big Awesome, didn't she?
Well, she did the pilot, which I didn't work on, but she did voice direct the pilot. I did get to work with her once. I took a class with her once, many, many years ago. Yeah, she did. I believe she did the pilot because our voice director for the series is a man named Michael Center Nicholas, who is also a Venture. He's actually one of the Venture brothers. I think he was Dean.
Oh wow.
Another incredible talent and just a sweetheart of a guy. But yeah, I believe Andrea just did the pilot because I never got the chance to work with her on that show.
Oh
But
right. Okay.
I did take a class of hers once upon a time, many, many years ago. She had just recently retired, I think.
Yeah,
So
she did.
she wasn't working anymore, but she was still teaching classes. And I was so lucky to be able to get in and work with her and spend some time in the booth being directed by her, which was just a thrill, like and again, like the theme with these people is like, yeah, they're these incredible talents. Like she's got, I don't even know how many Emmys, like 16 or 18 or something like that. But she could not have been a sweeter person and more down to earth. And she just loves actors. Like she just, she even though she had been retired, she couldn't stay away from it because she loves doing it so much. So yeah, just
You
an
should
awesome.
you should have seen the photos that Eric put on social media. She puts Barbie dresses on her Emmys. I'm not kidding.
That's
And I
awesome.
absolutely love it. Like, absolute, like, I tell you, right, there's a funny story actually involving Andrea and these.
Oh,
Right?
really?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Well, I video chatted her last August, because she did a GalaxyCon virtual thing for Batman the Animated Series. It was her, Diane Pershing, and Lauren Lester.
Oh,
It was meant to
cool.
be Kevin, but of course, he got sick, and then it obviously turned out to be cancer. So which
Yeah.
was awful. Yeah, so we connected, and at the time I had like these wired yellow headphones that I had for like I had them since like 2017, so a very long time, quite worn. So I had them on, and they were glowing and stuff like that. And she was like, "Oh my god, I loved your headphones." I'm like, "Me too." So I was like, "Thank you." So we previously conversed over email because obviously I spoke to her about the Bill Scott stuff. Unfortunately, she didn't work with Bill. So I spoke to her, and she was like, yeah, so we spoke about Batman and like Arlene Sorkin, who was the original Harley Quinn.
Right.
So yeah, so it was quite fun. And then I got an email from her a few hours later saying, I gotta get it up. I gotta get it up. It's the cutest. It's the cutest thing. It's the cutest thing, honestly. It just makes me smile every time I read it because like she
Oh, it's great.
inspires so many people, right? This
Absolutely.
time I've
Inspires me.
inspired this time I've inspired her. So she said, very fun to chat with you. Ordered similar headset to yours from Amazon. Thanks for the inspiration. So cute. And I was like,
Yes.
oh my gosh. Yeah. I was like, oh my god. So I sent her like pictures and stuff like that, and I said, "Welcome to the cat club," because that's what I call the people who have like, these cat headphones. And she ordered a pair. She sent me a selfie of her wearing them, and then my yellow pair broke. My
Oh no,
parents decided to order me a new pair, and it happened to be these are the same pair that Andrea got.
that's amazing.
Beautiful
So you
story.
sold Andrea Romano a set of headphones, is what I'm hearing. Like you, I hope you got a commission on that too.
I wish that was the case, but it was a seller on not eBay, Amazon who was selling. I think it came from, I don't know where, I think it was from abroad most likely because it took a few weeks to come, and then yeah, it came here and it needs to be charged. So it's like 2 hours for a full charge and the wireless. So like when I'm doing interviews, I need to get something. I don't have to take my headphones off anymore. I can just go to that place whilst peering. So
That's
that's
great. I need to
yeah.
get some. You see, I'm still tethered. I still have the old school.
Why don't you join the cat club? Andrea Romano's good rep for that.
Well, and now, I mean, now that I know about them, I'm going to Amazon right after this, and I'm going to get a set of myself or a set of my
Oh
own.
my god. Yeah.
I can't do the ponytail though. I can't make the
Oh,
ponytail.
oh yeah. My hair's getting longer, like by the second. It never used to be this color. I've had it purple, I've had it blue, I've had it. I think I had it. I had it. No, I think I had it like light blue when I spoke to Steve. Yeah, yeah. Right. I can't. Well, after a very eventful event and after showing John a picture, which I would rather not make public because I don't think I have Andrea's consent to share the photo of her in the cat headphones. I don't really. Oh, I mean, like, I don't have her permission, but I just want to. It's.
She's very litigious. She'll sue you right into the ground.
Yeah, she
No,
doesn't
that's not
have
true at
social
all.
media or anything like that. But meeting will end in 10 minutes. You kidding me?
What?
Oh my
What
God.
happened?
Because Zoom has a policy where it's 40 minutes if you're a free user, which sucks.
Gotcha.
I know.
That does
I'm gonna
suck.
have to restart the meeting in 10 minutes. After about 10 minutes of us flailing around and panicking and me trying to see if I can turn my computer off, we saw the image. And how does this link back to the Emmy? But well, I am gonna be me. I'm not sure how, if it's gonna be modeling clay or cardboard or however, but for her Emmy statue, I'm gonna make her a tiny little pair of cat headphones she can put on it.
Ah, that's perfect.
I know, yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna use. I think I might use modeling clay. So just like tiny little black thing with 2 circles and then just like cat ears with like different colors on them. I just probably just have to use like a tweezer or something to like shape them into place.
I love it. That's gonna be great, and she's gonna love it too. That's
I know.
awesome.
Yeah, she doesn't know I'm doing this, so I hope she doesn't watch this.
Yeah, Andrea, forget everything you just heard.
Yeah,
This is the gift
just
she's
delete this
talking
video.
about.
Delete this video from your history.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Now we're back on track. There we go. So Little Big Awesome.
Yes.
That aired in the UK, I believe. Yeah.
Did it?
Did. Yeah.
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember
we're taking the world by storm.
Yeah, of course, and the Sun and Moon. Because Weird Al Yankovic was in it. He was the live action Moon. He used to always dance for the sun.
That's right. Boy, actually, he was the sun. Weird Al was the sun, and then Amy Mann was the moon.
Oh yeah. That's me not doing my research.
Yeah, but
yeah, because
it was such a fun show.
I've seen him perform live. Weird Al.
Have you really? Oh,
yeah.
I never have.
I saw him live for my birthday.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So here's what a Weird Al nerd I am. I used to have back in the day. I had my little boom box, and I had the cassette tape. I forget what it was. His like the parody of Nirvana's Nevermind. That was, Weird Al had a bunch of songs on, and I would put that, and I would put it in my boombox, take it to the basketball courts, and blast it as loud as I possibly could. That's how cool I was. I brought Weird Al in my boombox to play basketball.
Best story you can tell. Yeah, but I took Weird Al to play basketball. Like, oh really? Yeah.
I think I was like 12 or 13. Yeah, we were blasting. Me and Al.
You were balling.
Yeah, right. And then 30 years later, we're in a show together. How about that?
I know. That is so cool. So you didn't meet him during the production of the show?
I didn't get to meet. No, there were only a handful of people I got to actually work with on that show. One of which, though, was Fred Tatasciore, who is just, again, the nicest guy and such a huge talent and a heart to match. Like he could not have been a sweeter dude. And I got to work with him a couple of times, actually. We were on an episode of The Mighty Ones together, as well as a couple of Swedish fleas. But,
yeah, of course, you're in The Mighty Ones. How did I not put that on my note?
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, it was only. That's right, Sven The Flea. It was just one episode, we did that in February of 2020. So that was like the last session before the world shut down. But I got to actually work with Fred. We got to improv a bunch back and forth together. We had a blast. Like we were just. We had too much fun. Yeah, he's the sweetest guy. I love Fred.
Oh, I need to get him for my show as well.
You do.
Of course, yeah. I need to try.
I'm texting him too. All right, I'll text Roger. I'll text Fred. We'll get them both on at the same time. They are like 2 peas in a pod. You get them together, and you're not going to get a word in edgewise. So you're gonna be laughing so hard your sides hurt.
I can't wait for that. I really can't wait for that. Like honestly, I'm just preparing for the day. I'm just reading books, just like yes, I've just got to research so I don't mispronounce anything or say any characters' names wrong. Just wishing myself luck.
When he's got a doozy too, Tatasciore. It's a mouthful.
Tatasciore.
Yeah.
I used to say Tatasciore. I'm like
Tatasciore.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, Tatasciore. Yeah. So how did you get into voiceover, John? What inspired you to become a voiceover artist? Of course, like after you'd done like your live action. How did you get into acting in general?
Well, that's a great question. For the longest time when I was a kid, I wanted to be an animator. Like I wanted to be a Disney animator. From the time I could hold a crayon until I got to college, I loved to draw. And I loved to draw Disney
That's
characters. I
amazing.
was such a huge like Disney animated movie fan, like and their heyday, in the late 80s, early 90s with like Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin and Lion King, like those were my jams. I loved those movies and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an animator, or so I thought. And then I got to college and I was like, oh, this is a lot of hard work. I don't think I want to do this anymore. I moved out to LA to become an actor, and then a friend of mine who was working as an editor, they were doing a pitch reel for Family Guy. It was just coming to syndication, and so they didn't want to pay Seth MacFarlane to come and do the voices, and I could just kind of do them, just to make my friends laugh. And she was like, "I think you should come in and try this. I think you'd be good at this." So I did, and I came in, I did my Peter Griffin, I did my Stewie, and it was passable, not great, but passable. And I'm watching the other side of the glass, and people are just like cracking up and loving it. And I was like, oh, there's something here. And it only dawned on me later, like I didn't want to draw these cartoon characters. I wanted to be them. I wanted to voice them. And
Yeah.
when I was watching the Disney afternoon shows back in the day, like DuckTales and Rescue Rangers and stuff like that, like I
Goof
would
Troop,
watch the
one of my
credits,
favorites.
right? Goof
Yeah.
Troop, classic. Bill Farmer, an incredible voice
Hold up,
actor.
hold up, hold up, hold
Oh,
up,
what
hold
you
up.
got? What you got? Let's see it. There
You
he
got
is.
that? I met
Yeah,
him
let's see
back
him.
in December. Yep, and then next weekend I am meeting PJ Pete himself, Rob Paulson.
No kidding. Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's another man that I haven't had a chance to work with, but again, I took a class with way back in the day. All of these people, they're so nice. And
I know.
you've met them. Like they're so down to earth. They're so cool. They're so happy to just talk shop like this, right?
There's only one or two that are absolute, forgive my language, assholes.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I feel bad now because like
It
that's
sounds so
completely, like,
fancy. It sounds so fancy in a British accent.
well, I mean,
Assholes.
we say arsehole, but the thing is, like, oh, someone's gonna bring it up in a few years and they'll be like, oh, she said this. Yeah, one or two people are assholes. I have had them firsthand, but the majority of them, if not all of them, are nice.
Well, that's just it.
That's
Like
all I'm saying.
one or two in all the people that you've met and talked to over the years, like that's a pretty good ratio, like that's awesome. And like I echo that sentiment. Like there have
Perfect
been
ratio.
so many people that I've gotten to work with and meet, and like they could not be nicer as human beings. Like
Oh
there's
yeah,
something about this part of the industry that just attracts the good folks. So
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Who's before we get cut off and have to start a new meeting?
Oh yes.
Who's been the nicest person that you've ever worked with or met?
I
Who's a
mean,
voice actor.
Fred, I think it has to be up there. He's just a sweetheart of a man, and was so warm and welcoming. So Little Big Awesome was my first show. That was the first show I ever did.
Was it?
And
Oh, wow.
yeah, and we were all sitting at lunch. I got to watch him and Jess McKenna, who is Lennon on that show. So they're like the duo, Gluco and Lennon.
Yeah.
And I got to watch them record the theme song kind of in
Yeah.
between sessions for my characters, which was a blast. And we're all having lunch together, and I just happened to offhandedly mention, "Oh yeah, this is my first show." And Fred's like, "What? This is your first show?" And the record scratches. Everyone's like, "Brr." He's like, "I'm so sorry, dude. I didn't mean to out you like that." And I was like, "It's totally fine." Like, but he was so warm and welcoming, and like the fact that he couldn't believe it, I was just like, "Okay, well, I must be doing something right then. If I'm putting it past old Freddie that this is my first show."
I don't like. I've seen a little bit of the show, but I still don't get the Sun and Moon segments. Is there an animated version of the Sun and Moon?
No, so they are it's such a weird, random, crazy show. Like some parts are live action, it's largely animated. Some parts are puppets. Like sometimes the characters are puppets. It's off the wall, and it's really fun. You should check it out. I think it's 2 seasons are on Amazon Prime. And yeah, it's a crazy, and the cast there, like, Fred, Jess, Dana Snyder, who was Master Shake on Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like, and it's just another like all-star lineup. Roger Jackson, who's the voice of the Scream mask.
I met him. Yeah. I met him. He's so lovely. Oh my god.
He was a sweetheart of a guy. The first day I worked on that show, he was the other person in the booth with me, and I had no idea who he was. I hadn't done my homework, and I didn't know he was going to be there. And so I'm just like, wow, this guy's really good. Jeez, I don't know if are we sure I'm working with this guy? Okay.
And then I go home himself.
I go home and I IMDb him, and I'm just like, oh, he did what? Mojo Jojo. Like, are you kidding me? So,
Gosh, because we said about the Disney afternoon, and I said Bill Farmer, and then we got into Rob Paulson, and I showed you the arts. Okay, now I know where we left off.
That's right. Yes. Okay.
About the Disney afternoon.
Right. So that was my jam, right? Like I would rush home from school to be able to catch. I would only catch like maybe the last few minutes of Gummy Bears because it was Gummy Bears, DuckTales, Rescue Rangers, and then it rotated that last one. Like it was Tailspin for a while. Then it was Goof Troop. I think like Darkwing Duck took that slot there for a while.
Do you remember Gargoyles?
Yeah. Oh, Gargoyles. Yeah, Gargoyles was great. That cast too, amazing. But like, so I would watch the credits after all these shows, and a name I kept seeing over and over again was Jim Cummings. I'm like, oh, this Jim Cummings guy, he sure does a lot of these voices. That must be a fun job. And now we have the same agent, which I still can't believe. Like, I am on the same roster as Jim Cummings, which is mind blowing to me because he was really an inspiration to me as a kid, and now I hope I get to be one of those names that some kid reads someday and he's like, oh, the grown up does that job. I want to try that.
Jim's in London right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, well, it's actually a funny story because Winnie the Pooh's been set to perform at the King's coronation, so Jim's had to go over to record lines of Winnie the Pooh for the King's coronation next Saturday.
That's
Monday.
Awesome.
I know, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised also Paddington Bear though, because like he did a lot of things with the Queen and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I mean, maybe the King's more of a Winnie the Pooh guy. I don't know.
I don't know. He's a voiceover buff. He's a voiceover buff. I got Scooby Doo. Really? Yeah, next. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice celebrities. Yeah, I remember you saying before, right? Nice celebrities.
Oh yeah.
So it was nice celebrities, and what was the other? Oh yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Nice celebrities. Okay. Right. I'll remember that. Okay, so nice celebrities. You said Fred Tatasciore. For me,
Fred Tatasciore, totally. Yeah, he was just the sweetest guy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you then.
No, go ahead.
For me, it's Frank Welker.
Oh yes, I have not yet had the opportunity to meet, the honor that it would be to meet Frank, but I mean, that's voiceover royalty right there, right?
I think we need to do a part 2. Like this is going to be very hard to discuss, but this is just like turned into like, I know it's a casual conversation, but like people are like, I want to hear more about Jon, not me, but you know.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your stories are much more interesting than mine.
Oh, don't say that. You've just done a Warner Brothers thing. I've not done animation before, but I really want to do it, honestly.
I mean, right. You're surrounding yourself with the right people, and like any opportunities you get. Here's a great thing too that's been happening. One of the silver linings to this COVID cloud is that so many of these people are offering classes on Zoom, right? Like you can study with these people. You can, and I imagine they're they fill up quickly once they're announced, but you could be studying with these people, and like I have gotten to learn from the best. Like I took Bob Bergen's class back in the day. I took Richard Horvitz's class. Like
Richard, I love him.
I've studied with all these people. He's every time I see him now, he's like Jon Thomas. He is hilarious. But that's it. Like getting to work with or learn from Rob and Maurice and all these incredible talents.
Maurice.
They're so lovely, and they're so giving of their time and their knowledge and their experience, and they just, once they find out that you're doing this too, they're rooting for you. They're in your corner and they're cheering you on. Like it's such a great thing.
Yeah, and like these people like took classes from like Doris Butler and people like that, and then the people that like Rob and Richard are giving classes to, they're now starting their own classes, so they're passing the torch. That's going from Doors, let's say, to Rob's, let's say, to you. You could start your own voiceover class in a few years, and I'd join it, and then in a few years, I could be doing my own voiceover class for British voiceover actors.
That's right, yeah, and that too, like, just speaks to the caliber of people that do this. They always want to pay it forward, and I'm the same way. Like, I want to be able to pass this torch, like you said, someday, hopefully. We'll see if I can keep working. Let's see.
Of course you will. I think you've got a really bright career ahead of you, Jon.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. What is you mentioned you like the Disney animated films like Aladdin and Lion King. What's your favorite?
Oh, that's a tough one. I mean, I'd probably have to say Lion King, but that whole era from like 89 to what was Hercules? 97?
97, yeah.
Yeah, like that 10 years. I'll throw Tarzan in there too. That 89 to 99, where you had Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Hunchback, I think is hugely underrated. I love
Yeah.
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Hercules and Tarzan, like that's
Beautiful.
any one of those. You ask me on 7 different days, I'll name a different one of those movies.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think of all right, Aladdin? I absolutely love that film. So who's your favorite character from Aladdin? Who would you say?
It's got to be the genie, like Robin Williams just
Robin
kind of
Williams.
he slays it. He's incredible, like and that whole character is him, like that shape-shifting, like madcap genius. And I just sat there slack-jawed. I remember seeing it in the theater and I was just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing and hearing. Like this man is magical, like that was another one of those formative performances where it was like, okay, somewhere in the back of my mind I was like, I want to try this. This seems like it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm glad you took a right turn for it. Yeah, and of course you got Gilbert Gottfried as Iago.
Of course, classic.
Jafar. Yeah.
Jonathan Freeman, who I didn't realize was also performing Jafar in the stage version of Aladdin.
In Broadway.
On Broadway, for
that
years. Like he did, and I think he's
just recently stopped. Yeah, over 10 years.
Which is incredible. And like, who is going to fill those shoes? I wouldn't want to be me. I'll tell you that.
Might be me. I don't know.
There you go. I think you'd make an excellent Jafar.
Really, I could cosplay as him, but I could never be as good as Jonathan. Trust me.
Well, I mean, and there's the thing when you do these, these legacy characters, like no one could ever be, I'm sure Frank would even say no one will ever.
He was the monkey. He was a boo.
That's right. Yeah, he was a boo.
And the Cave of Wonders.
And the Cave of Wonders. Totally. Absolutely.
Wow. Yep. Oh my God. Like, yeah, because I'd seen
talk about range.
I saw a panel. It was like Scott, Linda, Jonathan, Gilbert, and Frank, and just seeing awesome. Like Frank, all the cast members just hail Frank. You're thinking, oh my God, I love this.
He is the king. Like I bow in just Frank. The mere mention of his name.
Makes me go all queasy.
Oh yeah, he's and again, just by all accounts, the sweetest guy. I love it.
Definitely, I agree. Tell me, right? I gotta know about the Lego Movie 2. You voice matched for Charlie Day.
Voice match for Charlie Day in the video game. Yes, that's right. He is now Luigi, but long before he was ever Luigi, he was Benny in the Lego Movie, Lego Movie 2.
Spaceman.
Right, and that was again just another one of these auditions that came through, and I apparently we have the same sort of vocal range, and I could hit his pitch, so. I got to actually work on the Warner Brothers lot for that one. That was super cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that was really neat to get to drive onto the lot, and I'm like, I'm allowed to be here
with your own parking space. Start me off. Yeah, with your own parking space as well. Maybe I don't know.
I didn't have a reserved spot. I wasn't that fancy, but I did get to drive onto the lot. I've still got my little. Actually,
probably kicking themselves now that you're in that Taz film.
I saved my visitor pass. What does it say? This was January 4th, 2019. My little Warner Brothers visitor pass to be able to drive onto the lot.
Oh my gosh, for some reason that was like 2014. No, that's when the first film was released. I feel
that was probably the first one. Yeah,
that right? was. I forgot they made I keep forgetting they made a second one, and then it just came up and just thinking, wow. So what did you exactly do? You said you were a voice match. So did you fill in any ADR or
So there was. It was all.
That's what it's called.
Yeah, so it was. I actually got to give a performance. Like there wasn't anything really. I was only matching his voice. I wasn't having to repeat any lines that he had already done or anything like that. This was another situation, kind of like I was talking about when I first got started in this. I was voice matching for Seth MacFarlane's Family Guy characters. Yeah. This was like they didn't want to pay the Charlie Day rate to be able to bring him in to do the video game. And this happens a lot. I watched your episode with Mick Winger, right? Who is another, Mick. We did a pilot together many years ago. Such a great dude. But obviously he's done everything that Jack Black did not for Kung Fu Panda, right? Jack Black didn't do the episodic stuff. He doesn't do the video games. Right, Bowser. Again,
comes back to the Mario movie.
Here, right? And so, when they don't want to pay these celebrities basically to come in and do video games and do series and things like that.
Well, they're not available.
They're not available.
Movies,
right? Exactly. So they'll let folks like me come in as a voice match, and so they had the lines written, but there was no, there was no reference to be able to match Charlie. So I just tried to channel him as best I could. I'm a huge "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia" fan, so I feel like he kind of lives in a certain part of my brain. And I was like, okay, how would Charlie do this? All right, let's try it. And I worked with an incredible director, Kal-El, I'm going to butcher his last name, Bogdanov, I think is how you pronounce it.
Was he named after Superman?
You bet he was. Absolutely. Yeah. Kal-El. And he is a Superman. Like it was tremendous to work with him and to get to play in that sandbox. It's just what a treat, like it was just so fun. And yeah, and now, yeah, you play the Lego Movie 2 video game when you run into Benny. That's not Charlie Day. That's this guy.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
so cool. Oh my
Pretty neat,
gosh.
right?
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna buy the video game now just to hear you.
Do it, please. I need the residuals.
Do you get residuals from video games?
I don't know if I do
give
actually.
information. I know you get information, but
Yeah, I don't know I don't know what the contract stipulated on that. It may have been a buyout for that actually. There was another big strike back in the day when there were video game contracts to negotiate. So I think they might have landed on a buyout for that. But yeah.
oh, that's cool. Wow.
It's a great game though. It's super fun. It's a great game.
Of course. So just real quick, of course, they say all good things must come to an end, and it's just Zoom's, pain in the butt. And I know we will have to do a part 2 later, not later, but in the future. But
absolutely.
To get to the point, I mean, we have done the fangirling now. I can do a professional one next time.
You have lived up to your name, big time.
Oh, thank you. I do appreciate that, John. It's so kind of you to say. So, your live action work, I just want to bring up real quick.
Yes, please.
I want to know who David Lynch is.
So David Lynch is a filmmaker. He's a director. He is, IMDb him, and you'll see he's directed some, Blue Velvet. He's directed the Twin Peaks is what I know him from. Or what I'm most a fan of his from Twin Peaks, but Eraserhead and my gosh, his filmography is incredible over the years. Mulholland Drive. He's a very kind of avant-garde, esoteric weirdo, right? Like, and his movies are really just sort of out there. And my good friend who wrote and directed that short film, it was kind of like, how would you say in England, taking the piss out of David Lynch.
taking the piss, yeah. Or taking the Mickey,
Taking the Mickey, yeah. So, and just like kind of sending him up, like kind of lampooning him a little bit and kind of poking fun at the fact that like all his stuff is just super weird and nobody really understands it. People say they do, and they're like, oh yes, that was a very artistic and talking all about these different themes of life. And nobody gets it. He was convinced. So it was just a lot of fun to kind of take the piss out of David Lynch.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, that's so cool.
But he also it's the same guy that wrote and directed Drama Club. He's a dear friend of mine, and like I don't really pursue on-camera work. I just get to play with my friends when they're making their movies and having their fun. So VO is certainly my first love.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm gonna have to check it out now. You're just gonna have to. It's probably just like gonna be like a whole school like a crash course in David Lynch. Like, that's my next mission.
It absolutely. Good luck finding it. I'm not sure where it even lives anymore, but it's out there somewhere.
It's deep in the internet, I'm sure.
The internet, yeah. The most recent one I did that director produced is a short called Weekend at Jesus's, which is again taking the piss out of the Bible a little bit. So but it's a ton of fun. It's super funny. It just screened at the Hollywood Shorts Film Festival here in Glendale a couple of weeks ago. It was a blast. Yeah. So that one I know you can find. Cool. Yeah, I'll plug that instead. Go see Weekend at Jesus.
Of course, yeah. I'll put it in the description. Spend a weekend at Jesus.
There you go. Yeah. Not safe for church, though. I wouldn't recommend a church screening. I don't think they'd take kindly to it.
NSFC. Not safe for church.
That's right. I love it.
Not safe. I'm sorry, it's taking the pews a little bit. I'm sorry. I literally just came up with that.
I'm going to write this down. These are our new taglines.
Taking the pews.
I love it.
So have you got any cartoons that you're working on in the future? I mean, you can talk about us apart from Taz, or are you
I don't believe I'm allowed to say anything about anything else,
No,
but
NDA.
I will reiterate though that Taz Quest for Burger is coming to streaming. It'll be on, I'm sure, Prime Video and Apple TV. I think there are other streaming services that will carry it as well, but I know for sure those two on June 6th. And then it will actually be in physical form on physical media on digital video disc on June 20th. And I'm very excited. I'm going to buy out every outlet that's got it. So get your copy before I can.
I swear down, you're going to be announced with big project after I've done this interview because after I released the one I did with Rachel, she's just been announced for a new Batman film where she's not playing Wonder Woman. I'm like,
oh, cool.
I could have waited a few weeks. We could have spoken about that, but then again, to be fair, she probably might not have been allowed to say much. So I don't know, but yeah, it happens.
From your lips to the voiceover god's ears.
Yep, indeed. Oh, well, John, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, John, where can we find you on the internet?
On the interwebs, well, my website is jonlukethomas.com. There's no H in John. It's just Jon, lukethomas.com. Luke as in Skywalker. And then I'm on Twitter at JLTVO.
Sweet. I'll get those links in the description. And
awesome.
You at home, thank you so much for watching this interview. Well, should I say, casual conversation with Jon Luke Thomas. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for part 2. And we'll see you soon. Be kind to others and yourself. You deserve it. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye. And cut.